Welcome back to the Sports Update. We are joined by Stoney from 97.1 The Ticket about this disaster with the Lions. Stoney, where do we begin with the game? Let's start with a 4th-and-1 situation, trying to go for it.
Well, I've seen this team for over 26 years. I thought we've seen all ways that they could lose football games. Today was just unbelievable. Let's go to the fourth quarter, that game, overtime. Man, 4th-and-1. I had no problem if they actually decided that's what they were going to do, as far as go for it. However, I would have gone with either LeSure or some kind of play action, something besides the quarterback sneak. And now we find out from Jim Schwartz that they were just trying to draw him off sides. Somehow there was a miscommunication. Raiola snapped the ball. Sean Hill wasn't expecting it, and they lose the game. That's on Jim Schwartz if the message did not get to the proper people. But, you know, the way the defense was playing, I had no problem with them trying to go for it and get a touchdown. None whatsoever.
In the press conference, Schwartz saying that they had no intention to go for it.
Right.
I mean, that's just, what's your message, having covered the Lions as long as you have, what's your message to Jim Schwartz about what happened today at Stoney?
Just all around, I think you have major problems. And he knows this stuff. Their safeties are bad. They still commit ridiculous penalties at the worst times. Even rookies. You know, Bentley had a bad penalty. Earlier in the game, Goster Charles, a bad holding penalty when they were inside the 10-yard line. You can't have that kind of stuff go on. And their play calling earlier, I didn't understand a lot of it. You got Calvin Johnson. I know we say it seems like every week. Take chances. He's going to make great catches. He did later in the game. And I know you wanted to get LeSure going. And let's be fair, that was one of the bright spots. Mikel LeSure was really, really good. Chris Houston played a really good game. But when you got guys like Brandon Pettigrew, who every single game, it seems either commits a bad penalty or makes a drop, or in this case, loses the ball, and the guy runs it back for a touchdown. I mean, everything was, special teams were horrible, the coverage teams. I mean, you saw what happened on the punt return, the kickoff return. It was just bad, and yet they were managed to, you know, claw back. They showed signs of doing some really good things, and lo and behold, they're the Lions. They hate when you say same old Lions, but a game like that, forces people to sit there and say, oh, same old Lions, same old Lions. I don't know. It was very discouraging.
Well, it was tough to see that, too. Alteron Werner from the Titans snatching the football from Brandon Pettigrew. That's just unacceptable at this level. This is not high school football. This is the top-flight football.
You got to keep possession of the ball.
A little concerned there about Matthew Stafford. The reports coming out that it's a possible torn leg muscle, but what I liked about Sean Hill was him stepping in, showing a lot of heart, 172 yards passing, and oh, by the way, the Hail Mary pass that everybody's talking about to Titus Young right there in the end zone.
It was a great play. It was a lucky play. Look, they had the onside kick worked, the Hail Mary worked. You usually don't get that, and they still ended up losing the game.
But Mikel LeSure, you touched on him earlier, 100 yards, 26 carries. I think he did a great job, and I think he exceeded expectations also.
Yeah, he exceeded mine in his first game in the NFL regular season, absolutely. That's one of the bright spots. Now they got Minnesota, who, you know, Minnesota suddenly is 2-1. They beat the San Francisco 49ers today. So that game at Ford Field Sunday is a crucial game for the Lions this early in the season.
Christian Ponder is red hot. He's quarterbacking that Vikings team very well. Didn't even flinch against that 49ers defense. Moving on now, Michigan, Notre Dame. We saw what happened yesterday. Notre Dame forcing Michigan to 6 turnovers. Shoelace Denard Robinson, 4 interceptions.
He threw the ball 4 times in the second quarter. They were all interceptions. And look, he's a terrific athlete. He's just not a really good passer when they play good defenses. And the good news for Michigan is, besides having a bye, is now they only have to play the Big Ten. And the Big Ten is abysmal. Abysmal. Michigan State's been disappointing. Every team in the Big Ten, it seems, has been really bad. And so maybe they can get it together and play better. But Denard, he's a senior. He can't make these mistakes. He's got to know when to take a sack. And, you know, it wasn't all Denard, though. I mean, Vincent Smith with the halfback option, guy's open, Delio's open, and he underthrows that. There were some bright spots. I was worried that Michigan would not be able to stop Notre Dame's running game. Up front, their lines played pretty well, so I'll give them credit for that. And Michigan State, man, I mean, how hard is it for these guys in college to catch a football?
Oh, my goodness.
It's right in their hands.
Le'Veon Bell looked impressive, over 250 yards rushing, and ran his way into the Michigan State history books as the 16th Spartans player to go for over 2,000.
They can't be
career
one-dimensional,
rushing
though.
yards, but that's the problem.
They got to be more than
You
Le'Veon
gotta-
Bell.
And that's the thing. I mean, you saw Maxwell, 159 yards, but it's just against an Eastern Michigan team like this. Mark D'Antonio has to tell his guys it's time to wake up now.
And the question is, when Michigan plays Michigan State October
Oh, my
20th, who's
goodness.
going to be the worst quarterback?
You have a little message now for Roger Goodell, don't you, the NFL
Yes,
commissioner?
I mean, the stonehead of this week is the commissioner of the National Football League, Roger Goodell. You saw it Monday night in the Denver-Atlanta game. They took 8 minutes to do a review. And today, even in the Lions game, you saw some ridiculous calls by these replacement refs. The Lions were fortunate the Nate Burleson play. That should have been a fumble. Cliff Averill should have been a face mask. By the way, I digress. Where's Cliff Averill been? Where's this pass rush been? All right, that's on something else. They have no pass rush. And how about the fact that on the Stephen Tulloch penalty, they marked the ball from the Lions 44 instead of the Titans 44? That's administering the game. And yet Roger Goodell sits there and says, oh, these referees are okay. You print money. You're a billion-dollar industry. And yet you can't give your regular refs something. Roger Goodell, NFL owners who are behind this, stoneheads. Your game is becoming a farce.
You heard the boss from 97.1 The Ticket. That's the one and only Stoney. You can catch him weekdays 6 to 10 a.m. on 97.1 The Ticket. Stoney, we appreciate the time as always.
Thank you, Dave.
Stoney's Stonehead of the Week is brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, the best mortgage bankers. Call 1-800-LOW-RATE.